My goodness, Marvel. Just when I thought you guys couldn't get any dumber when it comes to this show, because you guys know I haven't been a fan of a lot of these middle episodes of the show here. Just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber, you guys go and pull a stunt like this episode here and totally redeem yourselves. I mean, not completely, but my goodness, this was such a fantastic episode. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sector for Nerds. Today, we're here to have a discussion about Daredevil Born Again, Episode 8, and I'm very excited to get in this one. You guys, make sure you guys are liking this video, subscribing to the channel, share this video with others to help support the channel as well. I have a lot of great content here every single week, you guys. A lot of it is Star Wars, as I'm a big Star Wars fan, but obviously I'm also a big Daredevil fan, so I'm covering this show as well, and we're going to cover it as season 2 rolls around as well. So plenty of great content here every single week, you guys. You definitely don't want to miss out on any of it. I was so happy with this episode. I thought that this episode had a much different feeling than the rest of this show has had. It's really weird because episode 1, the start of it, felt like the original Daredevil series. Then the show started to get a different feel, and it was like, okay, this is whatever, like it's fine, but it's not the original show, but it's doable, I guess. And then the middle portion, it was like something just completely different. Like, what the heck is this garbage? How did we get here? And then we started coming back up again, you know, in episode 7, where it's like, yeah, this is okay, I guess. This show, I don't know if I'm vibing it with it as much. And this episode, to me, felt like it brought back the original magic of the Netflix series, or as close to it as we're gonna get. And yeah, it's like, I was going to come on here tonight and say, like, yeah, man, you know, like this show, like, I guess in terms of all the MCU stuff, like, yeah, this is okay. But like, if we're comparing it to the Netflix show, like, it's not at that level. And it's still not. Okay, like, let me also put that out there. Like, this isn't the Netflix show. But I'll say this much, you guys, like, if this episode would have had the same feeling as the rest of the episodes, we might be having different conversations right now. But let's start focusing on the positives, you guys. This episode, we get a lot revealed in terms of like stuff that's been going on, the questions we've been having throughout the season. Like, okay, first of all, is Fisk playing Matt? Like, is he keeping tabs on Matt? The answer was yes. And then I think the marriage counseling thing also had a bit to do with that, right? The fact that they were going to this Heather person, clearly that Fisk knew that she was seeing Matt, right? So that's why they chose her. And then we get Point Dexter in this episode, which has been a minute since we've seen him, you know, the Bullseye. Oh my gosh, you guys, the way that he escaped prison, where he just spit a tooth out and it just went to the other person's head, like, oh my gosh. And now, like, Point Dexter, aka the Bullseye, is now on the loose again. And I thought, like, oh my gosh, are we gonna get like that 3-way triple threat matchup that we got at the end of season 3 of Daredevil, the original show? Are we gonna get that again? And mind you, we've also still got a wild Punisher out there, because he's still in that trailer, like, right? Like, we see him with the shotgun and everything. So Punisher still has a part in this, which makes me very excited. And then we get other gruesome scenes, like that one dirty cop putting the guy's hand in the deep fryer. Just like, ugh. You just felt the level of darkness in the show, and you felt like the frustration from Matt, right? Like when he finds out that Fisk was one of her clients, because in his mind, it's like, dude, like, he's using you to get to me. And Heather, poor Heather, doesn't really understand much about what's going on, right? Because, like, Matt's kind of been keeping things from her, obviously. It's like, man, well, what's going on here? The music in this episode as well, I felt like took things to a whole nother level. And this episode, man, like, they kept teasing it. The interaction between Matt and Fisk. They've been very smart. One thing that this show has done right is they've kept them apart, because you make the moments that much bigger. Like, they know every time that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are on screen together, it is magic. You have to preserve that. You have to protect that. And even in this episode, really, they didn't even have much interaction with each other other than Fisk kind of whispering out into the air, because he knew that Matt would hear it, of just like, I told you I was going to get to you, you know, something like that, right? But then, like, when Fisk and Vanessa are dancing, right, like when they're in there having that dance, and this, the way that this was all set up too, it just reminded me of the Daredevil season 3 finale, because a lot of that setup is the same way that they did it here, with like Fisk and Vanessa celebrating themselves, dancing, having a good time, and then Bullseye comes in and kind of ruins the whole thing, and then you've got Daredevil there too. But we kind of get the reveal, you guys, towards the end of this episode, episode who took out Foggy. And that was also another big running point in this episode, is bringing back, like, you know, the name Foggy again and trying to understand, like, how did he die? And like, well, whoever, you know, Foggy was working on a case that he was winning. Someone hired Poindexter, aka Bullseye, to kill him because they knew that Foggy was going to win. And then we find out in the end, right, that it was Vanessa, or at least that's what we're all kind of assuming at this point, right, that it was Vanessa. And man, like that moment when Matt's dancing with his girl and he kind of just smoothly, you know, brings her over closer to Fisk and Vanessa, and then be like, oh, sorry, mind if I step in here? And then him and Vanessa start dancing. And remember, Vanessa's, as well as Fisk, know who Matt is. But it's so interesting, right? Because remember what Matt said, for all you Daredevil fans out there, right, of the original Netflix series. Remember what he said, right? Like, you're going to keep my secret, but you're not going to harm Foggy or Karen, because if you do, I will go after your wife. And now, ironically, it is his wife, presumably, allegedly, that's responsible for the death of Foggy. And then you start asking the questions, right? Like, man, is Fisk really have a new lease on life, or is he just the same old crime boss that he's been? I think it's the second, especially after this episode. Maybe in previous episodes, you can maybe make the argument, but I don't know. I think deep down, Fisk has kind of always just been the same person that he has been. And man, this episode as well, I'll say this, you guys, like the Fisk character so far in this show, I haven't really been that into, because like, again, it didn't feel like the original Daredevil series, where like I had this intense hatred of Fisk and I wanted to see Matt take him down. I finally, after this entire season, have finally gotten back to that feeling again of like, you are a freaking son of a bitch and I want to see you get taken out by Daredevil. But again, like in a way though as well, right? Like, did Fisk actually keep to his end of the bargain? Because I mean, obviously if he knew about Foggy's death, right, that changes everything. But I think the fact that Matt assumes that he didn't is the reason why the final bit of this episode happened. And that was Matt taking a bullet for Fisk. That was crazy. Poindexter comes in, right? Like, he gets out of prison. He has this escape. He takes out the guy, you know, that we see standing up in the tower with the sniper gun. And Matt hears it. And initially I thought like, oh, is he going to target Vanessa, or like what's going to happen here? But he goes after Fisk, and Matt puts himself in harm's way and takes the bullet. And then Heather's obviously sitting there panicked as well. I actually just discovered that Heather played a part in the ever so popular Star Wars series, The Acolyte. She was one of the lesbian space witches. Nice to see her career didn't end after a dog shit of a show that was. I've actually really enjoyed Heather's arc in this show so far. Because at first it was kind of just like, oh, another, like I thought like, okay, she's just going to be like, what, Matt's new love interest? Like, where does that actually go? But like her character has actually kind of gone places so far. And the fact that like she killed Muse and she's been trying to deal with that. Now you've got her sort of trying to figure out like what's going on with Matt. Because obviously, again, she understands that something's going on with him. And that scene that she has like when they trade dance partners, right? And Matt goes to dance with Vanessa, and then you have Heather and Fisk standing there, and you have Fisk almost teasing to Heather, right, about who Matt is, and he's doing it intentionally, right? Because again, like we know this man is trying to spite Daredevil. He can't stand this man, like after everything that he's put him through. But at the same time, this gentleman's agreement that they have might still be on, which is crazy. Because again, like Fisk is sitting on like the biggest secret in New York right now, and that's the identity of Daredevil. And Fisk could at any point reveal that, and Matt is screwed. His whole life could change just like that. And speaking of his whole life changing, you guys, that was the whole part of this episode as well that really got me invested, is like Matt is starting to fall back into his own ways of like it no longer being Matt Murdock and becoming more of Daredevil again. Even though he didn't wear the suit in this episode, a lot of this episode, it wasn't really Matt making actions. It was Daredevil. It was that darker half, as Fisk would say. This was incredible. And again, I really wish that the whole season had this freaking tone. It really annoys me. All right, Charlie, Vincent, you guys have to understand what you guys have going right now, right? You knew the dog crap that Disney was going to put on your guys' plates, right? And you guys said, no, we're not taking this. And hence the reshoots happen, right? You guys are working on season 2 right now. You have to give it the same tone as the original show. Please, I'm begging you both. You're my only hopes here. You're the 2 stars of this show. You can do it. And again, there was the reports as well, right? That John Berthal was gonna, he was gonna walk off this show or whatever because like he felt that the writing for the Punisher was shit. Do better. And what did that result in? Like probably my favorite scene still in this entire show between Matt and the Punisher. That episode in particular wasn't that good, but that moment was amazing. So was it really Vanessa? Like that we haven't seen Matt interact with Vanessa since season 3, right? Like that, we haven't seen those 2 characters interact yet. And again, like they've been doing such a great job of like protecting these character interactions and saving them for these big moments. I just wish that the substance that was in the middle had a little bit more meat on the bone. Because even in the original show, right, like even when you weren't having those characters interact with each other and you were saving the big moments, you had other stuff going on in the meantime, right? Like stuff with Karen, stuff with Foggy, stuff with the Punisher. You had like all these other incredible storylines going on in the midst of all the Matt and Fisk stuff. I hope for season 2, if you're gonna do a similar concept, to make sure that there is more meat on the bone for the middle of the season, for that middle portion. And I have to assume, right, that Matt and Heather are probably gonna break up over this stuff. Said, man, if Matt finds out that Heather's clients were Fisk and Vanessa, I don't think he's going to take too kindly to that. And now obviously he's also going to try to keep her safe. And then obviously Heather's going to get all upset. And from what we've seen of Heather's character over these past couple episodes, right? Like she's not a fan of vigilantes. Even this episode, she thought that like Daredevil was no different than Muse, which is crazy. I do wonder though if she actually finds out. And I'm so curious to see what happens next week. I will say I do hope that Daredevil puts on the suit again though, because now that he got shot, like is that gonna like just keep him in a hospital bed for the next episode? I mean, we got Point Dexter on the loose again though. We've got Fisk doing whatever. We've got Punisher gonna be running around somewhere, which is gonna be exciting. Maybe Jack gets involved. They kind of tease that a little bit in the episode, right? The MCU since Endgame really hasn't been my cup of tea. I will say one of the projects that I thought, in my opinion, that they did a really good job on, and I might be the minority when it comes to this opinion, but I really enjoyed the Hawkeye show. And Jack was one of those characters that was just so funny to me. So like if they brought him in as like, if they had him help Daredevil in an episode or something like that, not saying that you have to do that now, right? Like in the finale, but even if like next season, him and Daredevil have like a team up episode where they're going up against Fisk Cop Force or something like that, I'd be down for that. I wouldn't even be mad.
But next week we gotta get the Punisher. We gotta get back in there, Red. I told you what was gonna happen. Bullseye was gonna eat his slop, and now he's fucking back on the streets again. And you could have ended it. No, I'm gonna have to end it for you.
And I will keep reiterating, I wish I had this feeling for the entire show. It would have been so much better. Marvel can go and mess up whatever they want to at this point. Honestly, for all I care, they could screw up Avengers Doomsday, and I really would not give a crap at this point. This is the stuff that I don't want them to mess up, and so far, I do feel like there's been a lot in this series that could have been a lot better if they would have just like not been Disney about it. From what I've been hearing as well about the reports on the viewership of this show, it has not been pretty, which is really unfortunate. Like it's something that breaks my heart, but at the same time, it's like people have walked away. I think so many people have tried to ignore that, but like, especially in Marvel, but it's like, man, you can't ignore it. Like you spent all that time, you know, creating this incredible universe and stuff, only to sort of like really kind of rip it apart. And people have had enough of it. People are sick and tired of it. And so they moved on with their lives. People don't have the same level of investment in Marvel anymore as they used to. People don't have the same investment in Star Wars as they used to. People don't have investment in the entire entertainment industry like they used to. We got to get it back. And it starts with focusing on good characters, on good stories, focusing on things making sense, and bringing back the feeling that people had when it came to the entertainment industry. And if we're going to talk Daredevil specifically, bring back the energy that the original Daredevil series had. I mean, there's a reason that show is so beloved. It's so popular. There's a reason why I loved it so much. I think the original Daredevil series on Netflix is the greatest superhero show to ever exist. Why? Because I was invested in the characters. I was invested in all of their individual arcs. I was invested in their story. I despised the main villain in a way that you should with a television show. I wanted to see him get his comeuppance. Treat the characters with respect. You don't insult the audience's intelligence. All right, and on that note, you guys, that is going to wrap us up for today. I'm excited for next week's episode, you guys. I hope you guys are going to be there to check out my thoughts and reactions as well. So make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with others to help support the channel, and I will see you guys next time.